What's going on, guys? Matt DeBary, DawgPost.com here, making you a smarter Georgia fan. We're talking recruiting today. We're talking top offensive targets for the Georgia Bulldogs in the 21 class. We're going to talk about top defensive targets down the road, but today is going to be all about the offensive targets. We're going to start with five-star quarterback commit Brock Vandegrift, Prince Avenue Christian. You know all about him. Former Oklahoma commit, decided to decommit, and then chose the Bulldogs later in January. Has a live arm, around 6'2", around 200 pounds. Mobile, I wouldn't necessarily call him a dual threat quarterback, but he does have a big arm. And he can make plays with his feet if he needs to. I believe he rushed for over 1,000 yards this past season, but it's all about his arm. Great strength, accuracy. He's a leader on the field. The guy's a big-time winner, and I believe he's the #1 pro-style quarterback in the country. So Georgia has their quarterback in the 21 class in local kid Brock Vandegrift. As it relates to the running back position, it'll be interesting to see where Georgia goes here. They took 2 in the 2020 cycle, Kendall Milton and Daijun Edwards. So will Georgia just take 1, or will they decide to take 2 more? There are plenty of targets out there for sure. 5-star Donovan Edwards out of Michigan. Could be a little tough to get him away from Michigan or Ohio State, but he took a visit to Georgia in January, and the Bulldogs are firmly in the mix here from what I'm being told. Still could be a little tough, but if anyone could do it, it's Kirby Smart and Dell McGee. Travion Henderson, speedy, athletic, guy out of Virginia. I think he's the #3 running back prospect in the country. I do think Clemson leads here, but he was in Athens, in January as well. A big-time guy on Georgia's radar, and I love his film. I think he's an outstanding back, so he's another guy to keep an eye on down the road. Cody Brown out of Parkview, 4-star guy. He's more of a bruiser, probably won't outrun anyone at the next level, but he's a guy who moves the change, breaks tackles, and you always need a back who can get tough yards, whether it's in third and short situations or near the goal line. Cody Brown is a guy who can do that for you. So one of the bigger bruising backs in the Southeast. He was in Athens last month. Again, I expect him to be back. Thought he might go out of state, but if Georgia pushes for Cody Brown out of Parkview, I think they have a pretty good chance down the road. Lavassier Carroll, another speedy back at IMG Academy, was at Warren County in the state of Georgia to start his high school career. Now he's down in Bradenton, but another guy with a lot of speed. He told me after his visit to Georgia for the Texas A&M game that Georgia was #1 on his list, so he's definitely got to keep an eye on as well. Florida's in the mix here also, but again, if Georgia pushes for Carroll, the former South Carolina commitment, I think they've got a good shot to land him. Evan Pryor, another fast guy with a lot of speed. He's out of North Carolina. Georgia's offered him. They've been on his radar for a long time. They offered him, I believe, over a year ago. Georgia, Ohio State battle there. He was in Athens in January, of course, with a lot of these guys, but he spent a lot of time with Donovan Edwards, the 5-star running back that I mentioned earlier. So Pryor, another guy to keep an eye on. Georgia, Ohio State battle there. So I think those 5 guys are really the top running backs that you need to know for Georgia's 2021 class. A wide receiver, Ajayi Hall, 5-star guy. He's another one out of IMG Academy. I thought Clemson would be the team for him early on, but he's been to Georgia a number of different times this year. Solid size, 6'2.5", probably close to 6'3". He can go up and win you those one-on-one battles. Big-time playmaker. He makes a lot of plays on film. He's a deep threat down the field. He's a guy that you can put on the edge and make plays around the sideline and down the field. He's just a really good prospect. Again, Mario Williams, another smaller, speedier back, one of the biggest playmakers, not only in Florida, but the entire country. Sources told me that he loved his visit to Georgia for Junior Day in January. Will probably be back this spring. I don't have a date there, but coming out of that visit to Georgia, I was told that the Bulldogs are in a really, really good spot for the Plant City 4-star speedy receiver, Mario Williams. Definitely a guy to know there. Another guy, Chris Hilton, 4-star receiver out of Louisiana. Obviously, Georgia LSU battle there, from what I'm being told. Another one of the fastest wide receiver prospects in the country. You saw in the 2020 cycle, Kirby wanted to add more speed. He did it with Jermaine Burton and Arian Smith. So look for them to continue to get more game changers. That's what Kirby wants out of his receivers moving forward. And those 3 are a few guys to keep an eye on right now. They took a bunch in 2020. I believe it was 5 wide receivers total. So spots are going to be tight, especially at that receiver spot. But those 3, I think, are the guys to keep an eye on right now. Other guys will emerge, but I think Ajayi Hall, Mario Williams, and Chris Hilton are the 3 guys you have to know. As we go on to the offensive line, Georgia could stay in state. I think they took 6 offensive linemen in 2020. So like the wide receiver spot, offensive line will have limited spots. So Matt Luke will be able to pick and choose his guys, and he doesn't have to go very far. He might be able to stay in state for the top 3. Obviously, starting off with 5-star Amarius Mims, one of the best offensive line prospects that I've seen in my few years of doing this. I've seen Andrew Thomas. I've seen Jamari Sawyer. Amarius Mims is right up there. He checks all the boxes from a physical standpoint, 6'7", legit, over 300 pounds, still moves like a big tight end, but he's got the balance, he's got the toughness, plays in a good program down there at Bleckley County. Obviously, the measurables are exactly what you look for in a left tackle. So he's still improving too. He still hasn't reached his full potential, so that is, that's a scary thing. So I think Georgia's in a really good spot here. Like some of the other guys, especially these in-state linemen. He's been to Athens a ton over the past 12 months. Had a very good relationship with Sam Pittman, but I've been told Matt Luke has come in and done a really good job establishing a relationship with Amarius Mims from the beginning of when he got the job. So Amarius Mims definitely got to keep an eye on 5-star out of Bleckley County. Terrence Ferguson, one of my favorite players in the state of Georgia. The guy just does his job. He puts his guy on the ground, doesn't have the flashiest film. He is 6'3", 300 pounds, so he's another big kid, but fundamentally sound. He's a technician, whether it's in the run game or the pass game. He just gets his guy on the ground and does his job every single play. He's had a Georgia offer for a long time now. I think he is a guy that Matt Luke wants. I've been told he's established a good relationship with Terrence and his family already. So middle Georgia kid out of Peach County, tough. It's going to be hard for the Bulldogs to miss on him, I think, if they continue to push. If they push for him like I think they will, I think he'll end up being a Bulldog. Another guy out of South Georgia, Camden County, Micah Morris, one of the more physically imposing linemen you'll see in the country. Real young for his age in the 21 class, still developing, still working and getting better. Again, like I said with Mims, that's pretty scary, but he's already got the size, and I saw him play West Forsyth back in the fall. The staff at Camden County told me that the light was starting to come on, and I definitely saw it flicker a little bit when I watched him. He was very, very good, and as he continues to work on his conditioning and transforming his body and just working on his overall craft, Mike Morris has one of the highest ceilings of anyone in the state of Georgia, in my opinion. So another guy to watch there. Amarius Mims, Terrence Ferguson, Micah Morris, all 3 are very familiar with Athens. All 3 have established a new relationship with Matt Luke, and they're 3 guys to keep an eye on along the offensive line in 2021. As it relates to the tight end position, there's a few guys out there that I think have strong interest in Georgia. I don't know which one is necessarily on top of Todd Hartley and Kirby Smart's board. But Thomas Fedone, a 4-star out of Iowa, is definitely a guy to keep an eye on. I think the staff likes him a lot. I think Coach Hartley went up there twice during the evaluation period in January. He and new offensive coordinator Todd Monken went and watched him play basketball one night. So I think he's a guy higher on their board. Another big kid, I think he's around 6'6", shows some athleticism, and they're going for size. They always do at tight end at Georgia, and he's another guy that fits that mold. Brock Bowers, 4-star out of California. I think Hartley's checked up on him a couple times. He told me that he's going to try to make a visit to Athens this spring. So he's another guy to keep an eye on. And Hudson Wolf, I think Todd Hartley, again, stopped at his school twice during the evaluation period. Another kid with really good size and a solid middle-of-the-road 4-star guy who can help you in the pass and against the run. So there's definitely a few options out there. It'll be interesting to see if Georgia takes just 1 or 2 in this 21 class. But those 3 guys, Brock Bowers, 4-star out of California, Thomas Fedone, 4-star out of Iowa, and then Hudson Wolf, 4-star out of Tennessee, are the guys to know there. So that pretty much wraps it up. Again, I'll have another video talking about Georgia's top defensive targets in my eyes in the 21 class down the road. But if you like this video, make sure to subscribe, get on the website. We're always pumping out content. I'm getting recruiting stuff out every day. So hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe so you will always be up to date on all your the latest Georgia Bulldog team and recruiting news. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all next time.